Hi, I'm Antonio Sala. In this video, we are going to start with a description of the so-called the big picture in the centralized, distributed, plant-wide control in industrial processes. This will be a first video just motivating a problem and presenting the key steps in this big picture framework, and subsequent videos will detail actual content of those steps. The basic motivation of all this is that, the target audience of this series of videos is a student that has passed a handful of control courses in university, so he has been receiving content on models, state space, PID, Bode plots, cascade, control, whatever. But, during your courses, you have been told the particular details on a lot of things. But somehow, maybe when you studied the examinations and coursework of those courses, you missed the big picture. So the goal is summarizing such big picture in this series of videos, so you have clear what people in industry expect from you when you say you're an expert in control of complex systems. And in, let's say, chemical engineering, they don't usually expect you to know theorems on H-infinity stuff, but they expect you to know more basic instrumentation skills and, let's say, cascade control, override control, feed forward, and things like that, without formulae. So, devoting some time to enumerate all those things you must have in your toolbox as a process control engineer is the main goal of what I'm going to tell next. And this is the master plan, the big picture, in what industrial engineering requires from a control engineer or a process engineer or something like that. In the sense that the tasks you may be assigned, or the task you will oversee if you are in a senior engineering role, will be framed in one of these 5 big keywords. Say, designing my processes so that they are easy to control, so putting control in the drawing room and not as an afterthought. Then control structure selection, which is with perspective sort of deciding the information flow, divide and conquer, so you must craft a division of your plant in subsystems, which will operate in a coordinated way, but somehow with some independence. You need to decide how that division is made, who sees what, who does what. And that idea of the subdivision of the tasks and the information flow can apply to a complex society or management structure in a company, or to an oil refinery, let's say. And then when you have your information flow, then of course you need to carry out the actual controller tuning. In industry, it's usually PIDs and predictive, but okay, more on that later. The thing is that this aspect is quite likely the one in which your university courses devoted most of the time. Pole placement, root locus, loop shaping. But in the grand scheme of things, there are a lot of things that are equally or more important. Once you have decided your controller tuning adjustments, you need nitty-gritty implementation details, which software provider. These implementation details are not relevant from a mathematical point of view, so you will not have received a lot of information on that, but it's important to know whether my controller will be in a SCADA DCS system, whether it will be in a PLC, how will be the network interconnection, etc. Which database are you going to log some events? because, well, the data you acquire during operation must be analyzed in order to diagnose what happened, quality control, maintenance, and ideas for improving your performance. So these are sort of the 5 big trees in the forest of efficiently operating a complex industrial process plant. And of course, understanding this may be the subject of 5 control courses you have taken. But after those courses, having a look at the big picture may be worth it. So that's what we are doing here. However, before getting into some details, what we understand as the big picture in industrial process control engineering is very different to what others consider the big important issues. I mean, if you are into manufacturing, maybe you have other things to worry about: inventory control, pick and place robotic systems, numerical CNC machines, interactions between people and robots in your factory, robotic cells, destructive samples in quality control. So, if you are in that business, maybe level control, temperature control, or concentration are things that do not worry you, because you are worried in machining something to a given tolerance and assembling them in a robotic cell. So everybody is right and wrong for some things. This is of paramount importance, but for some others, other things are important. For instance, in aerospace, maybe you will be more interested in sort of state space representations, centralized control, inertial navigation, accelerometers, GPS, attitude rotations, quaternions, things more related with mobile robotics, with sinus and cosinus of a lot of things. And also you may be interested in the so-called parameter varying systems, in the sense that the behavior of your control surface in an airplane is very different at sea level and slow speed than at 15 kilometers altitude in supersonic regime. So those issues have not much to do with what I was telling a minute ago, that was very important. So, it's a matter of opinion. And last, if you are a PhD student, maybe you are interested in Theorem 4 or in computational fluid dynamic simulation of the turbulence in whatever jet engine. So, again, your PhD supervisor will tell you that the key important big picture things to worry about are some issues on partial differential equations, convex optimization, or whatever, that have nothing to do with this. The world in academia is quite different from industry. In academia, you want to learn things. In industry, you want things to work reliably. So, well, as I said, it's a matter of priorities, but let us settle in saying that these 5 items in this list are the main keywords in industrial process control. So we will concentrate in future videos into enumerating all the possible options in each of them. So if they sound familiar to you, good, just remember to have them in your toolbox. And if they sound not familiar, then you should look elsewhere for specific detail on what we are talking about. So we'll finish this introduction motivation video here and leave the details for later ones. Thanks for watching.